You're listening to Kels and Madi with Roots and Rise.
Rooted in real life, rising anyway.
So we have an incredible person here today. So this woman she's going to have to go through her title at Circle of Care, because I always say that she's the head ruler of Circle of Care. That's not true. But she is the reason why I am aware of the organization. Circle of Care is one of the number one nonprofits in the state of Oklahoma that services and gives opportunities for not only foster children, but foster families and those who have been through the system support. It is a support system that is there to basically be a family of sorts to ensure that they have everything that they need to be successful. That includes people that are interested in the foster system. That includes people who are currently a part of the system or who have been through the system, or people that just have questions in general. So we introduce Shannon Cheek. That's
Davis.
The reason why I say Cheek is because your Facebook and Instagram accounts both have Cheek, and also your brother is Matt Cheek.
Correct.
Who I do know.
Correct. And also there are 4,000 Shannon Davises.
I know one.
Yeah. I almost didn't get my job at Circle of Care because another Shannon Davis had applied.
That's hysterical.
And they're like, no, you're out, but it was the wrong one.
It was the wrong one. Yeah.
Well, she's the more iconic, respectfully, Shannon Davis. But I think
not true.
But there's something about the cheek.
Us.
It's because you have kissable cheeks to me.
Thank you.
And so I think that's why I can't get your maiden name out of my head. It's because you got these kissables. Anyway, inappropriate, but moving on. I told you, Wuthering Heights. She's coming in.
She's on a different level.
I'm absolutely romantic right now. I'm in the romance era. So Shannon and I first met. We kind of met through church a little bit, and then we grabbed coffee and we just chatted, and come to find out there's a little bit of a soul connection. But I think a lot of that has to do with we have a heart for justice and a heart to protect those who need a voice. They need assistance. They need help. They need a strong arm. They need a heart. So that's definitely one way that I feel that Shannon has impacted me, is by making it possible for me to serve a community of people that essentially helped me get through foster care. So we have a million questions. Number one, and then Maddie's really just going to take this over because Maddie came up with a myriad of questions that are so incredible. First things first, please let us know what your role is, what you do, how long you've been at Circle of Care.
What Circle of Care is.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the vice president of development for Circle of Care, which means I oversee our fundraising efforts, our community outreach, church engagement, some communications. I wear a lot of hats.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in this role at Circle of Care for 5 years. I started in the middle of COVID in October 2020.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'm also a foster adoptive parent and was in the middle of that journey when I started at Circle of Care. So we are...
Sorry. Clock's changing.
I'm sorry. That also is very Wuthering Heights. For there to be a clock dinging, it feels Heathcliff is here.
It does.
He's showing up. Okay, I'm
That's
sorry.
all right.
I will not continue.
We'll go with it. Yeah.
I'm not going to continue to bring this up. Okay. Continue.
I also felt like it was bells from heaven when I start talking about what
You
Circle of
literally
Care
are.
is. No, not me.
It's
The
you.
whole
Me.
Yeah.
No, it's all the 60 people that work across the state of Oklahoma for Circle of Care, serving children and families. We are the state's largest private provider of foster care services that no one has ever heard of, because we started, we were started by a church. We were started by two groups of Methodists in 1917 who started the Oklahoma Methodist Children's Orphanage. And through the years, we've changed and adapted as we've learned more about what children need when they are in crisis and when they cannot live with their biological families for whatever reason. We're also learning now what families need in order to be able to stay together. We are learning what parents need when they've lost custody and they're working to get reunited with their children. And so we do all 7 programs, 9 locations across the state of Oklahoma.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it's been around that long.
A long, long time.
That's
over 100 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's news. News to me.
That's news.
The reality is I was a foster parent
Mhm.
working through Department of Human Services, DHS. I had never heard of Circle of Care
Really?
until a friend said, hey, you should apply to work with them.
You're like, who's that?
I had no clue. Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder why that is.
I think it's because we started as a denominational church ministry and we're very comfortable there for a long, long time. We just separated from the Oklahoma Conference of United Methodist Churches in 2022. Like
Right.
we've been around for a long time, but we've only been our own 501c3 since 2022.
Okay.
So we're still changing our name on things. We used to be called Oklahoma United Methodist Circle of Care.
Oh,
And we
okay.
changed our name that same year. So yeah, I mean, we're an old organization, but in the public's eyes, we're kind of new. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
does make sense. Okay. So before your title, who are you?
Gosh, I like to say, if you look at my social media, I'm kind of I like creativity, very connected to my family. I'm very proud to be the mom of 6,
Oh my goodness.
Nana to 3 now, 3 boys. We just had a brand new
Oh,
grandbaby
congrats.
2 weeks ago. And been married for 35 years. I think that's right. Yeah, we're in
I
2026.
know. At some point, you kind of lose count.
Parents were missionaries when I was growing up. So I have this deep streak of wanting to serve the
Mhm.
community, serve people. I've been told by 2 therapists now that I'm a fixer. I like to fix things and I get really frustrated when I
For
can't.
sure.
I love to thrift. I love to read. I'm a sometimes community theater enthusiast.
Really?
You sure are.
Yeah, I just started that in the last few years.
That's so cool.
I hadn't been in a production since high school, and
And you're like, I'm just doing it.
I'm just going to do it.
What was the production?
It was Hunchback of Notre Dame
Oh,
at Poteet Theater, and I'm also a breast cancer survivor, so 2-time breast cancer survivor. And after the second time, I was like, I'm not going to wait to do the things I want to do. I'm just going to do them. So,
Amen.
that's some good advice.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you are everything.
Yeah.
That's
I'm telling
phenomenal.
you, I'm like, this woman could eat you.
Everything minus 2 boobs.
Who needs them?
That's
I don't need a
right.
boob. Who needs a
Yeah.
boob?
It's extra work, extra
Who
weight.
needs a breast?
So is there like a moment where you told us you previously worked DHS and now you're Circle of Care, correct?
So I was a foster parent through DHS.
Oh, foster, okay.
Mhm. But my whole career, I've been in nonprofit work, working
Okay.
with children or families, or church ministry, working with children and families.
Do you feel like it's been a calling since you were young or it kind of
yes.
changed into one?
Yes. From the first time that I was asked to teach a children's Sunday school class when I was in high school,
You just knew.
I just kind of knew, like, I'm good at this. And even in my life where I was away from my faith, I took a detour for a while where I was like, that's my parents' thing. That's not my
Yeah.
thing. I still was working with kids.
Mm-hmm.
I do, because I'm a fixer. I had applied during that period to be a big sister with big brothers, big sisters, and they turned me down.
Really?
They
Nice.
said I was too goal oriented, and I needed to chill out a little bit because I was so goal oriented. They were worried that when I couldn't fix the child's life, I
It'd be
would
too much.
get frustrated and quit.
Interesting.
So yeah, so I went and started my own program.
There you go. Like,
I
okay,
love that.
well, great detour.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, do you have any questions along the way?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, my questions are always invasive and not
Yeah.
always. I never really am like super prepared to like ask them in a a gentle way. Can you tell me if you were scared to foster for the first time and like why, like, how did you dive in?
I was not scared enough.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Really?
Fair enough.
Yes. Now, it was a unique situation. We had sent our youngest biological daughter off to college, and where people are like, "Oh, you couldn't handle the empty nest." Actually, we loved it.
Yeah.
Like it was great. We were traveling. We were watching whatever we wanted to on TV. I literally invented girl dinner before it was a thing.
Yeah.
Because I'd be
Shannon
like,
Davis,
I'd
girl
be like,
dinner.
"Hey, I'm having some rice and beans. What are you having?"
Yeah.
And so we really, my husband Britt and I were enjoying our life. But I was on staff at a church, and these were children that were in our children's ministry, and it's a long story. I won't go into the whole thing, but like God literally opened the door, and we were like, "Oh, is this what we're supposed to do?" And then there was a delay because things with DHS and foster care, there's always a delay. And eventually, 6 months later, the kids were brought to our house on a Tuesday night in February and filled our entryway with their bags of stuff.
How many kids?
3 siblings
Oh.
that at the time were 12, 8, and 5.
Oh, my
So,
goodness.
yeah. And then we eventually adopted them. That was not the plan at the beginning, but gosh, once they'd been in our home and they were, wormed their ways into our hearts. And
Yeah.
when DHS said, "Hey, they're not going to be able to go to family in Washington State where they're from. Are you interested in adopting?" We were like, "Well, duh."
Right. Have you considered fostering prior to this?
Not really.
Okay.
My parents fostered after I was out of the house. I was grown and I was married and had kids when my parents did it, and I saw how hard it was. And so, and I was working with children and families like this at church all the time, so I didn't feel like I needed to be a foster parent in order to serve. But it was these particular kids,
Yeah.
and the 6th grader, Sweet Jay, who literally every weekend, 5th and 6th grade Sunday school, was like, "Can we please pray for my sisters and I to find a safe home?" And
Oh. And you're like, okay, come.
I said,
Come to me.
"Yeah, yeah." But what I meant, I wasn't scared enough. I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought, "Oh, I've been working with kids in crisis my whole career. This is going to be easy. I'm so suited for this."
No.
It is different when kids with massive trauma are in your house 24/7. It is different, and it's hard, and it is not for everyone.
Right.
There are still days that we are like, "How do we do this?"
Really?
Yeah, it's just I've learned some things along the way. Like I know where the Department of Homeland Security office is in Oklahoma City, where you can turn in a cell phone and they'll do a deep dive to try to catch a child predator. Like kind of
Right.
crazy things like that.
Yeah. Stuff that you don't
Yeah.
anticipate.
I know my
needing
way
to
around
know.
family court now. Didn't ever
Yeah.
know that before.
Are there things that you can share, would be willing to share besides like, those are good examples. I think like as somebody who, Hunter is definitely not ready to foster, period. He's not ready. We are very specific about like wanting to foster kids with Down syndrome because there's a lot of reasons as to why we would want to do that. A lot of it also was I was a troubled 15-year-old and I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. And that is a problem when you have littles in the house. You can't have that. Can't share that space. That's unsafe, in my opinion. But then I don't want to speak to that. And then there are foster kids that are 15 that need a home. It's like, what do people need to do to prep themselves?
Well, number one, they need to know their own boundaries. They need to know if they have a history of trauma, having kids with trauma in your house is going to bring that back. And so they need to be, that doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you have to be prepared. You have to have your own therapist on standby.
Right.
They also need to know what is their motivation. This is a really touchy topic. So
Good. Bring it.
people might want
Get touchy.
Yeah.
So for every foster care placement in the state of Oklahoma, the goal is reunification with the biological family. Maybe not the parents, but someone in their biological family. I didn't really used to understand that. And when our kids came to us, that was not a possibility. Um, and so we didn't really have to wrestle with that. But many foster parents do. And if you come into foster parenting thinking, this is how I'm going to grow my family, or this is going to how I'm going to fill a hole that I have because of infertility or losing a child or just, wanting more children in your life, fostering isn't for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, adoption might be, but fostering, the goal is always reunification.
Right.
And that is really hard. It's really painful. I did not have to grapple with that piece of it because we went into it thinking it was short term with kids we already knew and loved, but that it was short term.
Right.
And then when the opportunity arose for us to adopt them, it was very easy to say yes, but it wasn't what we expected, if that makes sense. Our family was complete. We were so I don't ever want to I think people, and there are agencies, not in Oklahoma, but other places. I mean, when I'm in touch with foster families around the country, there are agencies and places that really do kind of say, hey, this is a great way to solve a problem and also fix your family.
Because they just want to get those kids placed.
Because they want to get the kids placed. That is not what foster care is. And it is a whole lot messier if you are in a situation where you're not just dealing with the kid with trauma, but you're also really sort of a bridge between that child and a parent with trauma, an adult who hasn't dealt with it and who maybe has like really messy life situation.
Because you become immediately in the middle of it.
Because you can become in the middle of it. And those are families that, like, throughout my career, I always loved working with families that were struggling. It's the fixer in me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's what you're good at.
I'm better now that I understand that part of myself. I can't turn somebody into a version of a mini me or my
Right.
family, whatever. That's not everybody's place. Like, they need to be able to have their own lives and do their own things. But yeah, it is much, much harder if you are a foster parent and we have at Circle of Care, we have so many amazing foster parents who come into it knowing I am going to minister to the children in my home and to their family, to their mom or their dad or both, to a grandparent that's trying to get custody. Those parents are so brave, and the job that they do is so incredibly hard. Again, I don't want to say I'm lucky, but that wasn't our situation. We didn't have to deal with that. By the time our kids came into our home, their mom had already relinquished her rights and dad was on his way to prison. So we didn't have to do that.
Right.
It does make me really sad for my kids that it will be very hard.
Sorry.
Again, it's just heaven.
It's just heaven. You can keep talking. I think
It's a
Charlie
little
can
bit
dim
of
that out.
whimsy. Yeah.
Yeah. They have experienced a huge loss in
Absolutely.
losing the people that they are connected to by blood. And because their extended family lives in another state,
They can't go.
it's hard to keep that connection. And they do have 2 little sisters that live here, and we have maintained contact with their family, the family that adopted them. But it's still hard.
Absolutely. I think that's a good perspective that I'd never considered, and I think a lot of people haven't, is that you're fostering families. You're not fostering just children.
Correct.
The biggest goal is reunification, like you said, not, I'm gonna take in these kids who need me.
Yeah.
No, it's these families who need us
Correct.
to help bridge them together.
And, what we see about foster care and child abuse on the news, the things that make the media are like really the shocking and heinous cases.
Oh, really?
Yes. I mean, you see when a kid has been like starved or
Yes.
raped or, really abused. 70% of foster care is about poverty. It's about addiction. It's about mental illness. It's about families that just don't have the resources that they need to be successful and safe.
That's
for their
one of the
children.
questions I was going to ask you.
Yeah,
Is
me too. Yeah.
the cause of
Mhm.
entering the system.
Yeah. Those are fixable problems. I mean,
Yes.
and obviously you have to have biological parents that are willing and ready to go to drug rehab and to move out of the neighborhood where all their drug friends run around and,
Mhm.
leave domestic violence situations. Like those are big, huge things that we ask of those families as they're trying to reunite. And those things take time
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and resources.
and resources.
Mm-hmm.
And so what the foster parent is doing in those situations is really holding space
while they do that.
while they do that. And if you've ever worked with or known someone who is dealing with addiction of any kind, who's dealing with poverty, like it's a slow road.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a parent, as a foster parent, like oftentimes you're looking at this little kid and you're like, it's not fair to them. I can provide exactly what they need right now. And their parent can't. Like it's so easy to
take that mindset.
take that mindset. And for fixers like me, there's a lot of us out there going, I'll
Yeah.
foster. So yeah, you just have to be really honest about that and kind of what your motivation is. If you want to foster, you have to be willing to be stretched outside anything you have ever experienced.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I knew it all. I'd worked with every kind of family. I'd had every kind of kid in summer day camp. I could do anything. I knew nothing. Like
Right.
literally my parenting style had to change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm a yeller. I can't yell.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't
Yes.
work with
Yes.
my kid. Like they just tune it out.
They're like, no. Mm-mm.
I can't, for some of my three, I can't ground them. I can't, they are so used to, and even 7 years in, like we take something away, they just figure out how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the survival.
It is the survival,
like the survival
resourceful.
skill. Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's where also, I think like you get traumatic responses look like lying or sneaking around or whatever, but it's
Disrespect.
it's
They
like
look like-
survival preservation.
It's survival preservation.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that, I mean, I'm sure navigating that when you parent it so differently
Correct.
the first time, you're having to be reborn into this new mother.
Yeah.
Is that pretty? I mean, is that sent your mental health into a relapse, if you will?
Oh, that's a question. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have a therapist on standby that you call in events where it's too hard?
Yeah. Yes. And we deeply rely on the counselors that are in our children's lives.
Mm-hmm.
We spend a lot of time back and forth between appointments. Even 7 years in, we're still, because one of the things that people don't realize, and I need to give a plug to our one of our newest programs at Circle of Care, as we've looked at what are the holes in the systems. Or one big hole is that families who've adopted don't have the same resources that foster parents do. And that's crazy because there are about 5,900 children in foster care. There are over 20,000 children in Oklahoma who have been adopted, many of them through DHS. So they come with trauma and,
Yeah.
So we started a program at the end of 2024 called Beyond, which stands for Beyond the Courtroom. Everybody smiles and,
And then
likes the pictures of the kids in the courtroom being adopted. But then what happens? And there's really incredible research coming out around the country, but also here in Oklahoma at OU through the School of Social Work about very predictable patterns of how children, when they're adopted, there are some really predictable patterns of when that trauma that you think you've dealt with is going to rear up again. And it kind of follows developmental stages. So about every 3 years is kind of...
Really?
Yes. And depending on where your child is, because if a child has experienced trauma and say they come to you as a 5-year-old, they're really probably more like a 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So they're developmental stages. But like a developmental stage is brain development for a child. Where is all that trauma stored? In the brain. So every time the brain changes, that trauma kind of pops back up. And one of the biggest developmental stages, every parent knows this, even if they haven't experienced yet, you've heard it, puberty.
Yeah.
And the teen years are really hard for all parents, but especially for parents who have adopted children, because adolescence brings, number one, a new understanding of what may have happened to them in the past. They may have viewed it the way that a child views it when they first came into their adoptive family. But once they're a teenager and they start understanding more about sex and identity and all of those things, then all of a sudden the trauma is like, oh,
It's facing it all over again.
It's facing it all over again from a very different developmental stage. And so adoptive parents are often really surprised. Like, we were surprised, and I don't know why I work for an agency that does this, but like, we were like, why are we having to do this again? Like, we thought we'd conquered this. And here it is coming out all over again. And so anyway, our Beyond program provides just really amazing support for families that are kind of in those crisis moments. We have a director of the program her name is Cindy Becking, and she started the Chosen, I think it's Chosen, a support group for foster adoptive families at Crossings. And that's been in existence for 15 years.
Okay.
But she brings all of that experience. She's an adoptive mom herself. She will you can go on our website and schedule a coaching call with her.
I was going to say, if someone who is an adoptive parent wants to check into those resources, they can go to Circle of Care website.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Click our programs tab and click on the Beyond program. And there's literally a scheduler. You can just pick a date and say, here's the date I'm going to talk to her on the phone. And she has just her finger on the pulse of everything that's available in Oklahoma City and even around the state for adoptive families. And we work real closely with the Adoption Preservation Unit of DHS and Dr. Bonnie Goodwin and her staff there that all are focused on making sure that the families who have adopted have all the resources they need to keep their families stable.
Good.
Yeah. It's hard to know statistics because nobody has really kept them.
Right.
But the general sort of understanding about adoption is that about 15 to 20% of adoptions nationwide fail. That's
what does fail mean?
Mean the kid goes somewhere else. The parents say, we're done.
They adopt them and then send them.
Yeah. Or
away.
Sometimes they fail because the child runs away and is like, I don't want to be in this family. And
just because, basically mostly for emotional reasons.
Yeah. It's all trauma related.
Yeah.
It's all, and people not having the tools and the resources that they need to work through what is really actually, I mean, Dr. Goodwin and her folks are saying this is predictable. Like we can, and we should be doing more to inform and then provide resources for families where this is a challenge.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's fascinating. I didn't know any of this. I mean, that's why you're here, right? I have a question that keeps staying in the back of my head. When you decided, or the opportunity to foster and then adopt came to you, how did that affect your biological children?
That is a really good question. And it makes me really happy when people ask this because number one, I get to brag on my three daughters who are all three amazing. When Brent and I found out about the opportunity, we didn't tell them right away because we were thinking about it. We were like, okay, is this something that God is calling us to do? Is this something we should be doing? We had very busy lives. We had, he was an elder in our church. I was on staff. We were doing a lot of ministry already. So we really did wrestle with, we were willing. We just were like, is this what we are supposed to do?
Yeah.
And so we prayed about it for a little while. We told our three older daughters kind of individually and asked for their input because we were like, we're not, and we told them, if you think this is a bad idea, we want you to tell us because we aren't going to do it if you don't agree to it. Now, they were kind of adults. I mean, the youngest one was 18, but they really did. We wanted them to have a say. We have a very close family. I mean, I think we're a little codependent, to be honest, but
I'll take it. Tell
Yeah,
me, give me
I'll take
every
it too.
tip.
I'm great with it.
Yeah.
To be fair. And so, yeah, we asked them. And the one we thought would be the hardest one was actually like, yeah, do it.
Isn't that funny how it's always,
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then we had another one who's like, yeah, I can see y'all doing that. And one who's like, hold up. How is this going to affect me?
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And so we had kind of a long runway to think about it and pray about it. Because the way we found out about the need, there wasn't really even a need there yet. It was the current foster mom sort of transmitting, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But DHS hadn't recognized that. And so
Gotcha.
anyway, we eventually, yeah. Now, I will say, even with adult children who understand it, one of whom her whole degree is family science, and she's the one who taught me about trauma.
Oh, yeah.
One of them is a school teacher who deals with kids with trauma all the
Yeah.
time. The other one works for a nonprofit
Mhm.
that deals with
Mhm.
kids with trauma.
Uh-huh.
Like, even adult kids still have feelings that are like, this has really changed our family in some
Mhm.
ways that don't feel good all the time.
Mhm.
Well, and you're going to mourn the
And you're-
loss of an original thing, your original
Yeah.
version. And obviously, you've raised wonderful girls who have grown and rise to the occasion and probably accepted and loved their siblings now.
Yes. And I don't think that we could have done this without them.
Mm-hmm.
They have been, because the kids came to us in February of 2019, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2021.
Oh my gosh.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So they literally stepped in, my girls stepped in and did so much parenting in the, during the times that I was sick and going through treatment.
What was the absolute hardest part of that chapter?
Oh gosh, nobody's asked me that. I don't have to think. I think for me, the hardest part was how hard I had to fight to get well. I had cancer 20 years before, breast cancer on the other side, different kind of breast cancer. And I was 20 years younger. And like treatment and all of that wasn't fun, but it was easy, if that makes sense. We were in a great church then that just wrapped themselves around us and like did all the things. And I just had 3 cute little girls. Like I didn't have this whole like extended family. And my job wasn't nearly as rigorous as what I do now. So, yeah. And then I had a lot of complications. We won't go into all of them, but my recovery took 4 years. Like I just finished the last piece of like the treatment plan in December last year.
Oh my God.
Like 2 months ago.
December of 2020.
Still.
4.
Yeah.
But then I had surgery and was in wound care until July of last year.
God.
So like
It's been never ending.
it's been never ending.
Yeah.
And to be just not my full self and to, have to be relying on my kids and just at times where I wanted to do the thing. I didn't want to have to ask someone else to do it. Yeah. That's probably the hardest.
Absolutely. Especially as a fixer, something that you can't immediately fix and that you're at a loss of control.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
Yeah. And then when you have kids who are, because of their trauma, even after 7 years, still don't 100% trust that you're always going to be there for them to have to face, oh, she could die. Like that's
so heavy.
That I can't even, I try not to think about it because it's really hard to wrap my mind around that kind of terror and grief.
Yeah, that they live with. Yeah. Well, you're incredible for being that safe space and that person that loves so much to change their lives.
I heard recently I was in Wetumpka, Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
With a wonderful church and another one of our partners that we partner with for recruiting foster families. It's an organization called Backyard Orphans. And what I heard there, I needed to hear it. It was really good to hear from someone else that works in this space. And what they said was one of the most beautiful things for a believer, one of the most beautiful things about fostering and adoption is that when you aren't enough, and there are days that you are not enough for what those kids need or what you need or what your other kids need, when you aren't enough, that God is. And you get to see him step in and work over and over and over. Yeah. It is such a privilege to have like that front row seat to sort of we have a case manager in one of our other programs that's not foster care who talks about with their clients in that program, she talks about it being a miracle that rolls out in slow motion. And that's kind of what fostering adoption is. You're seeing just little steps forward and then, maybe 2 steps back, but you're seeing God step in and literally change the way a child or an adult's brain works. Yeah. When that trauma begins to be healed and when they learn something new and they get to experience something that they've never experienced before. Yeah. I mean, my kids are so excited. Like I think the second year we had them, it was still COVID and we wanted to take a vacation, but it was COVID. So we rented a lake house and we drove to Texas to this lake house and they were so excited to stop at Buc-ee's.
Oh yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just the little things that we, can take for granted so easily.
Yeah. Well, and then they were like, we've never been to Texas. Oh. I was like, I've been to Texas thousands of times in my lifetime.
You're like, this is magical. Let's go to Texas.
Yeah. That was really fun.
Amp it up. Oh, I love to hear that.
Shan, I know you have to get going because you have a whole thing. Yep, it's 1:03. Whoops. Sorry.
I'm going to rapid fire a few questions to you.
Do you have to, but is that call taking place when?
It is. It's fine. I'm observing the call, so I'll just join late.
We'll make this super fast.
Okay.
One myth you'd love to erase about foster care.
Gosh. I think that anyone can do it and it's easy.
Gotcha. Not true.
Not true.
And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you.
No, it doesn't.
You're just not called to do it.
The reality is anyone can support. Not anyone can do it.
I love that. One word to describe foster parents.
Brave.
I love that. One thing Oklahoma is doing right.
Oklahoma is doing, I think they are stepping into some territory to support kinship families. That is really important. And by kinship, we mean biological families. Also people who may not be related by blood to children, but have school teachers.
Yeah.
Like our family, we were technically kinship at the beginning because we knew them from church. But really allowing some flexibility in how children are placed to look for those opportunities where relationship already exists and where they can stay in their own communities. Now, are we perfect there? No, because we don't have enough. We don't have enough foster families and we don't have enough workers even to be able to find those relationships and navigate them. So that's one of the things Circle of Care is working on. We would love to become a part of that piece that DHS is doing to place kids in kinship homes and to provide support for those kinship families. So that's really, really.
I like to hear that.
Yeah, that's one of the ways. And sometimes that's prevention.
Right.
And families sort of do this anyway. Like you go to any church, go to any school thing, you'll see a whole bunch of grandparents that are raising their grandchildren.
Right.
Most of the time, though, they're doing it without support.
Yeah.
They're not getting a stipend like a foster parent does. Yeah. They're not getting free child care vouchers, or they're not getting free insurance for the kids. And they're doing it just out of their own pocket and with no access to mental health or even health care sometimes. And so I like that Oklahoma has started looking at that. And we're as the largest private provider of foster care in the state, we have a strong vested interest in being able to be part of that conversation and really start thinking, how do we resource families better so that they don't have to remove kids from their homes?
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Okay. One thing that gives you hope.
My children. My children. I see we have our son who is a senior this year and figuring out what he wants to do with his life.
Yeah.
And our two youngest daughters who are they have so much heart. We didn't raise them from babies like we did with our older girls who all work in service professions, but even our three adopted kids, they care about other people and they want to do things with their lives that are in service of other people. And I see that in so many kids that have experienced the child welfare system. And you would think that would make people hard. But when it happens in a way that's full of grace and where God is working, they don't become hard. They actually become sometimes the biggest advocates for people that
And
kids
just
coming.
so empathetic.
So empathetic. Yeah.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom and your calling with us. I've learned so much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. I will talk about this. My family gets tired of me. They're like, can we turn off?
Like, no.
Foster
is my
care mom.
passion.
Can we just have a normal family dinner?
No, we may not.
No.
I'm actually going to talk
Mom
about
said
this.
no.
I'm going to share this new research with you on brain development. And they're like, please, Mom.
Likely everyone's kind of involved in that realm. So they're like, okay, I already heard this, Mom. I already heard this.
I already know. I already did the PD. Yeah.
Shanny, we love you so much. You're like kind of an angel.
On earth.
You got cheeks that are kissable. And that's how everyone's going to remember your name.
Right.
Shannon Cheek
Cheeky.
Davis, Vice President of Development with Circle of Care. We are thankful for you today. Thankful that you gave us so much heart and wisdom in this time. Very grateful for you.
Thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed it. Love you guys so much.
Love you. Thanks.
We want to give a shout out to Price Mortgage Group, who is the mortgage broker of Edmond and Oklahoma City and basically any surrounding area in the state of Oklahoma. If you need a mortgage now, you need to call Price Mortgage Group and reach out to Kelsey Paul.
Also, we'd like to thank Stitch and Pretty for sponsoring us with the best swag. If you need custom stitching done, any intricate, beautiful, detail-oriented design, she is your girl, stitchandpretty.com or at Stitch and Pretty on Instagram.